The following program is paid for by Main Street Living.
Hi, I'm Pastor Matthew Harrison, president of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. Starting in the late 1950s, Lutheran Hour Ministries aired a television program called This is the Life in their efforts to bring Christ to the nations. It was a critically acclaimed show that used story and drama to convey eternal truths from God's Word. And it featured actors who were just getting started in their careers. Recently, Lutheran Hour Ministries, in partnership with Main Street Living, remastered and brought to HD quality about 50 of these programs. You may notice some young actors who've become very famous. And even though the props and styles are of the 1960s and 70s, the subject matter is still very relevant. So please sit back and enjoy this week's episode of This is the Life.
This is the life.
Now my arm's stretched a foot.
Mine, too.
Maybe instead of food, they sold us bricks.
Well, if they did, they're made out of solid gold. Oh, those food prices.
Isn't it simply awful?
I remember when we used to eat on $10 a week, and pretty well, too.
Of course, your salary's gone up a little since then, too, you know.
Yeah, but not as much as some of those prices. I'm telling you, it's beginning to hurt.
It would have hurt a lot more if you'd been caught going through that red light today.
Yeah, you were sure lucky, Dad.
Well, there was no policeman there to see it.
Be a fine thing. The chairman of the school traffic.
Okay. But nobody saw it, so no harm done.
Bill, guess what? Market made a mistake and forgot to charge us for the ground round.
No kidding.
We're ahead $1.85.
What do you know?
You gonna tell the market?
After the way they've been gouging us?
Oh, I know, dear, but after all, don't you think we
Look,
should...
if they can't add, it's not our fault.
Well, I suppose.
Besides, finders, keepers, losers, weepers, huh, fellas?
Hey, Dad, you know that baseball you've been promising us?
Uh-oh.
Well, why can't we use that $1.85 to buy it with? Sure, as long as you thought you'd spent it anyway.
Well, now, fellas, I don't know.
Oh, Dad. Come on, please. You've been promising.
I'll get it. Hello? Oh, hello, Mr. Gruber. Yes, he's here. Just a minute. It's for you, dear.
I wonder what your principal wants. Thanks, honey. Hello, Mr. Gruber. How are you?
Fine, thanks, Mr. Ebling. The reason I called, I'm preparing a survey for the next PTA meeting, and I was wondering if your committee would have anything new to report.
Well, as you know, trying to get the city to allocate the funds is like pulling hen's teeth. But we're going to keep after them till they get that traffic signal installed.
Well, with you as chairman of our safety committee, I'm sure we will.
Well, I'm doing all I can.
Well, believe me, it's appreciated. Particularly by those mothers who are having to patrol that corner.
Yeah. My wife's wearing out her shoes so fast, I've got to get that signal in self-defense.
Well, all joking aside, Mr. Ebling, I'm so glad that we have so many fine, public-spirited citizens like you and your wife supporting us. With all of us working together, I'm sure we can't fail.
I hope you're right.
Well, don't worry. About this, I am. Good night.
Good night.
I'm sure glad you know the principal.
Well, I don't think that's ever going to get you out of a jam.
Hey, Dad, how about that baseball? Yeah, what do you say, huh, Dad?
Well, I guess I did promise.
That's swell. Thanks, Dad.
This way, it's practically painless. $1.85. Think that'll cover it?
Sure thing. And we'll get it tomorrow, right after school.
Okay.
Hey, wait a minute, Kenny. Come on with us. I can't. I promised my folks I'd be home right after school. But buying a baseball won't take long, and then we can try it out. I promised my folks, and besides, I don't think it's right you using that dough. What do you mean? It's the market's own fault. Sure. If they can't keep track of what they're doing. Well, something like that happened to me once. And my mom said if I didn't give it back, it'd be the same as stealing. Oh, you're crazy. It's not the same at all. Besides, my folks say stuff costs too much anyhow. Yeah, we were just getting a break. Hey! What's going on? Oh, we're trying to get Kenny to go with us while we buy a baseball. Oh, you got some dough? $1.85. Shucks. I'll sell you something better than an old ball. Take a look at this. What is it, Wally? It's a genuine rare seashell. My aunt sent it to me from Florida. Oh, who wants an old shell? Plenty of guys do. Here, listen. You can hear the ocean. Yeah, it does kind of sound like waves. Let me hear it. Okay, but don't drop it. Now I got a lot of chances to trade it. I'd rather have the money. I don't hear nothing. Of course not. You got it backwards. Oh, I told you to be careful. Break it up. Nobody's gonna shut my brother on, see? Yeah, well, then you better teach him to look out for other guys' stuff. I'll go button your... Hey, Kaya, he didn't hurt your shell. Yeah, well, it's lucky for him. Oh, yeah? Yeah! Why don't you guys knock it off? Well, he better never try that again. Oh, forget it. He hurt you? No, I'm okay. Sure you don't want to come with us, Kenny? I can't. And besides, I still don't think you ought to buy a ball with that money. Oh, take your cold feet and go home. Come on, Johnny.
I'm home. Hi.
Hi, dear. How are you?
Oh, tired. Brother, what a day.
You're talking. You should have been out with me on that mother's patrol today.
Hey, maybe that's why my ears were burning when I talked to the commissioner this afternoon.
Did you get any place?
Well, I made a lot of noise. I told him if the city didn't get that stop signal in pretty quick, you mothers were going to raid City Hall.
Don't think we won't.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Hi, boys.
Hey, supper ready? I'm starving.
Well, me too.
Well, it'll be ready by the time you boys wash up. That is, unless you have to take a bath.
Oh, we're not that dirty. Shucks, no.
Well, that's a matter of opinion. But I'll settle for clean hands and necks. Now, hurry up.
Here's a ball, Dad.
Oh, let's see. How'd it work?
Swell.
You guys got a good buy here.
Only thing is, it'd be sure great if we had a catcher's mitt, too. Yeah, we saw one in the store, and it only
Don't
cost...
go pushing your luck. Now, come on, better get washed up. You look pretty dirty.
How can you play ball and keep clean?
That's something I've never been able to figure out either. I could eat a horse tonight.
Well, you better tighten your belt because we're just having a pickup meal. I got home so late from patrol duty that I didn't have much time.
The way you gals gab, it's you only have any time left to escort the kids across the street.
Well, I won't argue that one, especially when it's Mrs. Barnhart doing the talking. Honest to Pete, I thought I'd never get away.
Another invitation?
Mm-hmm. I can't seem to get it across to her diplomatically that we'd prefer it if she'd quit inviting us to church.
Well, I suppose it does look a little funny from her standpoint. The way we're sending our kids to their day school and still not joining their church.
Well, I've explained we're only doing it because the public school is so far. But she won't give up. She seems to think because you're chairman of the safety committee...
Well, now, don't let her get you goat. She means well.
Oh, I know. I suppose one of these days we should start the boys in Sunday school.
Meanwhile, I'd say we're doing a pretty good job with them.
I can't understand you, Russ. You know your fractions backwards. Why in the world would you want to cheat?
But I wasn't, Miss Davis. I just happened to look toward Mary's desk.
Don't make it worse by lying, Russ. You not only copied Mary's answers, you copied her mistakes. But the worst mistake you made was to cheat again. Apparently last week you didn't take my other warning seriously. How do you think your parents would feel if they knew? Don't you think they'd be terribly ashamed?
I'm sorry.
I hope you are, Russ. You're too fine a boy to do things like this. I'm going to give you one more chance. But remember, it's 3 times and out. If it happens again, I'll have to go to the principal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Can I go now?
Just one more thing, Russ. You might put something over on me or your folks. But if you remember the Bible lesson we had this morning, you can never put anything over on God. He always knows. All right, you can go now. Yes, Wally, what is it?
I lost my seashell. I thought maybe I dropped it in here.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen it. Maybe you dropped it in the cloakroom.
Yes, ma'am, I'll look. Hi, Wally. Hi. You see my shell? No. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Hello, boys. That was Russ and Johnny just got home from school.
Can we have some cookies?
Oh, Gladys, you know Bill and I just love to get together with you and Jeff. But you know how it is. Seems like something always happens every time we think about it. Tonight? Well, we'd love to, Gladys, but, well, we're all tied up. Yes, we're going out. Tomorrow? Well, I'm afraid we can't make that either, dear. Yes, we have another engagement. Well, you do that. Give me a ring. We'll get together yet somehow. Tell that husband of yours hello. Right, dear. Bye.
I didn't know you and Dad were going out tonight.
We're not.
But you just told Mrs.
Oh, that woman. Honestly, I've never seen such a pest. If I hadn't told her we were going out, we would have had to sit through another one of her dull parties. Don't you ever let on I told you.
Oh, shucks. No, we won't.
How was school?
Oh, same thing.
Well, run along, get changed.
Okay. Hey, can I try out the shell now? Okay. You hear it? Sure sounds like ocean waves. How do you know? You never seen the ocean. Oh, I've seen it on television. Are you going to give this back to Wally? Why should I? Finders keepers. Yeah, but... And what Wally don't know won't hurt him. Yeah, like Mom and that Gladys woman. Yeah, you gotta use your noodle what you tell people. Besides, serves Wally right the way he shoved you around. Yeah, and I got an idea, too, what we can do with this shell.
What shell?
Oh, just an old seashell.
Well, where in the world did you get it?
Oh, I found it. You can hear the ocean, too, Mom. Hold it up to your ear.
My, that sounds real. But it must belong to someone, Russ. Now, where did you find it?
Oh, at school.
Well, you better turn it in to your teacher tomorrow. After all, whoever's lost it will be awfully unhappy.
That looks fine, boys. I certainly appreciate your staying after class to help with the displays.
Yes, that's okay.
I hope I see your parents here tonight after the meeting.
They wouldn't miss it.
I know your parents are coming, Russ. Your dad phoned me this noon.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll be right back. If you finish before I do, thanks again.
You're welcome. Yeah, that's okay. Come on, Kitty, let's shake a leg. Let's get out of here. Okay. Hey, that's Wally's seashell. What are you doing with it? I found it. Why didn't you give it back to him? It's his shell. You mean was? Are you going to keep it? No, I'm not going to keep it. I'm gonna trade it in to a guy I know for a catcher's mitt. But you can't do that. It'd be like stealing. It is not. Look, Russ, you haven't got any right keeping that shell of Wally's. Same as your folks shouldn't have kept the money from the market. You saying my folks stole it? All right. So a lousy clerk makes a mistake. That's his hard luck. Have you ever heard of thou shalt not steal? Sure, but who's stealing? Boy, oh boy, are you headed for trouble? Oh, yeah? Well, listen, you ever tell anyone about this, and I'll...
And you what, Russ? All right, Kitty, you may go.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Russ?
Oh, I was just kidding. I just found it, and I was going to turn it in.
After what I heard, that's rather hard to believe.
But what would I want with an old shell?
Sit down, Russ. Honestly, I don't know what to say.
But I wasn't going to keep it.
Russ, I'm not exactly stupid. Cheating in exams, lying to me, and now what amounts to stealing, as well as threatening your friend. What do you suppose Jesus thinks of a boy who cheats and lies and steals? This seashell, Russ, it's strong and perfect because it grew the way God intended for it to. It's the same with us. If we're to grow up to become the kind of people God wants us to be, then we too must grow like He intends for us to. Don't you see? That's why I'm so concerned about you. You've got such wonderful possibilities. Yet nothing I say seems to make any impression. Haven't you anything to say?
Well, if you won't believe me.
I'd like to believe you, Russ, but how can I? Well, I'm sorry, but you just leave me no choice but to go to the principal. Somehow, for your own sake, we've got to help you to understand how to act like a Christian boy.
What happened? Oh, she's gonna tell the principal. What are you gonna do? Well, she won't believe I was just kidding about the shell. Kidding? Sure, I was gonna turn it in. Yeah, you were. Then why were you gonna knock my block off if I told anybody? Look, Russ, if a guy's done something wrong, my folks say the best thing to do is to own up to it and start out fresh. Oh, skip it. I'm sorry you're in a jam, but you don't have to be sorry. My folks will stick up for me. They're not a couple of squares like yours.
Well, that's the situation, Mr. Gruber.
Russ's parents so active in school affairs, it's a rather delicate situation.
I feel like such a failure with the boy.
Well, Miss Davis, there's only so much that each one of us can do. The rest of the guidance must come from the home. And from what you've just told me, in Russ's case,
It's so hard to believe what I heard Russ saying about his folks. They seem like such wonderful people.
I think in many respects they are. I imagine they're like so many parents who feel they can have one set of values for themselves and another for their children. They forget, like father, like son.
Then you'll talk to them?
Yes, I'll be seeing them after PTA meeting tonight anyway.
If there's anything I can do,
Well, you better hold yourself in readiness just in case.
I will.
Sergeant Munt.
Wish we could stay in tonight.
Well, you want me to call Mr. Gruber and tell him we can't make it?
No, I promised I'd be there. Besides, after all that work I put in on that report, I'd hate to... Hi, Russ.
Hello.
Well, what's the matter with you?
Nothing.
You sound damper than the weather.
Well, what's the matter, Russ? Don't you feel well?
I'm okay.
Have a fight or something?
Nope.
Where's Johnny?
He's upstairs.
Well, is he all right?
Yeah, he's playing with his train.
Well, come on, Russ. There's something bothering you.
Sure, get it off your chest, son.
Oh, I'm in trouble at school. My teacher won't believe me.
What are you
Won't
talking
believe
about?
you.
It's about that seashell I found, Mom. I took it back like you said, to turn it in. And Miss Davis says I stole it.
She what?
Russ, you must have misunderstood.
And not only that, she called me a liar, too, and a cheat.
I don't get it.
Why on earth would she say anything like that, Russ?
I don't know. I told her I found it and was going to turn it in, but she said I was lying.
Why would she think you were lying to her?
I don't know.
What's this about cheating?
Well, she says I looked at a girl's paper during an arithmetic test. But shucks, I knew all the answers. Why would I want to cheat?
Well, did you?
The way he knows arithmetic? Don't be ridiculous. Of course he didn't.
Russ, are you sure you've told us everything?
She said she was going to tell the principal, too.
Well, I'll tell you something, Russ. Anybody goes around trying to say any son of mine is a thief and a liar and a cheat, they're in for a rough time. Now, don't you worry about it. I'll get it straightened out. Wait till I see Gruber after the meeting tonight.
So glad you could come to the meeting tonight. Good night. Good night, Jack. Well, that was a very encouraging report you gave the parents tonight, Mr. Ebling.
It may be the last report I'm going to make around here.
Oh, I don't understand.
We'd like to talk to you, privately.
Certainly. Would you come into my office? Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
Mr. Gruber, did Miss Davis talk to you about Russ today?
Yes, she did, Mr. Ebling.
Well, I think it's outrageous, the thing she called Russ. And I think there ought to be an apology.
I don't know when I've seen Russ so broken up.
Where does she get the idea our boy's going around stealing and cheating and lying?
From the facts, Mr. Ebling.
What facts? The kid finds an old shell. When he goes to turn it in, he gets blasted.
I don't blame you for being upset. But I can assure you that Miss Davis does not go around making unfounded accusations. And in my opinion, she has every right to be deeply concerned about Russ. And so should you.
You mean to say Russ lied to us?
Now, I don't know what he told you. But I would suggest that you hear what Miss Davis has to say.
I'd like that very much.
Yes, I would, too.
I believe she's still in her office. I'll ask her to join us. You'll excuse me.
Well, that's the story. I'm sure you can understand our deep concern.
Miss Davis, I'm afraid we owe you an apology.
I had no idea. It's pretty much of a shock.
You're not the first parents this has happened to. I'm sure we can work it out together.
Russ has many fine traits. It's just that, well, his sense of values needs strengthening.
Well, don't worry. I'm going to have a talk with him that'll make anything you've told him sound like a bedtime story.
Well, thank you, Miss Davis.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Mrs. Devlin.
Goodbye.
Before you go, may I make just one more suggestion?
Certainly. Please go ahead.
As I emphasized in my talk this evening, the primary responsibility for the Christian training of our children lies with the parents in the home. Now, the church and the school can help, but nothing takes the place of the home.
I suppose you mean we haven't been doing much to help.
Please, Mr. Ebling, I'm not pretending to be a judge, but I do know that when a mother and a father have come to a personal Christian faith of their own and do their very best to share that faith with their children, then problems such as you're experiencing with Russ right now are reduced to a minimum.
I guess you're right. We haven't been what you call irreligious, but we never got around to being what you'd call religious.
I think I know what you mean.
But where would we begin?
Well, Mrs. Ebling, the Christian way of life is both taught and caught. Now, as parents, it's our duty to teach our children what God has told us in the Holy Bible. But also, and just as important, we have a duty to set our children a good example. Now, you'd be surprised at how many a child has caught his Christian attitudes and habits by being exposed to Christian parents. And if there's one thing we teachers know, it's the contagion of a Christian influence, especially in the home.
Yes, I guess you're right.
Just one more suggestion.
Of course.
Next Sunday, our pastor is beginning a series of sermons on the Christian home. Wouldn't you like to attend and bring the boys?
Well, I guess I better check the boys and see if the sitter tucked them in all right. You know, I think that first thing in the morning I'll go to the market.
It's a good idea, dear. We thought the market made the mistake.
I hope you found this program to be both entertaining and insightful. Even though the show was filmed decades ago, the concerns of those days seem to parallel many situations of today. We'll be back next week with another episode of This is the Life. In the meantime, I invite you to seek further wisdom from God's Word, the Bible, and I invite you to visit one of our congregations in your area. We are the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, and you will find our 6,000 congregations listed at www.lcms.org. This program has been brought to you by Main Street Living, which relies on the generosity of viewers to support this programming. They appreciate your prayers and would also appreciate your financial support. You can view additional episodes of This is the Life on the Main Street Living website Thanks for watching, and join us again next week, same time, same channel, for another episode of This is the Life.